This Minnesota fraud story is massive, growing every single day. And the amount of news outlets not covering it, incredible. Through the roof. One mention is not coverage, kids. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. Grab a cigar. Come join us. The radio show is about to join us. Let's go. The fraud out of Minnesota is bigger than we know. The problem is it's not just Minnesota, and that's obvious. Washington State, Ohio, your state, where you live, who's defrauding the government? Who's defrauding Medicare? Who is out there claiming to have a child care service that services no children, claiming to feed children, and they're not feeding anybody? You think they're all Somali nationals? What are we nuts? That's crazy talk, right? That doesn't mean it's crazy to talk about the Somali nationals in Minnesota and what it is that they are connected with, which is massive fraud. And why? And what do we do about it? Because the idea that we can't do anything about it because somehow that's racist, to hell with those people. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be back with you. Took a few days off, spent some time in Vegas. I'll get into that story. But the FBI is now investigating. Kash Patel with the post on social media. He's the FBI director. The FBI is aware of recent social media reports in Minnesota. However, even before the public conversation escalated online, the FBI had surged personnel and investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. Fraud that steals from taxpayers and robs vulnerable children will remain a top FBI priority in Minnesota and nationwide. The FBI dismantled a $250 million fraud scheme that stole federal food aid meant for vulnerable children during COVID. This connected to Feeding Our Future, that original reporting from the City Journal, part of the Manhattan Institute. This is massive and ever growing. And every day there is another story. Every day there is one more thing that is happening that we're learning about. For example, we saw through the reporting of Nick Shirley, and you could tell that it's good reporting because the left is very angry about it. And you're like, hey, Tony, who the heck is Nick Shirley? He's a 23-year-old who puts himself in the middle of the danger and asks questions. He puts himself in the middle of it, and he asks questions. And so he met up with a guy who is in Minneapolis and doing all this research, saying, here's what we're being funded. There are no kids here. This daycare center is supposed to have 90 kids. They got no kids. And this home health center, there are 14 of these home health businesses all in the same building. I mean, what do they actually do? And they go to the daycare centers and all the windows are blacked out. The doors are locked. And one of them was called the Quality Learning Center, except they spelled learning wrong. And it was Learing. It was the Quality Learning Center. They spelled the name wrong right there. I just said spelt, like that's a word. And they put it, boom, right there on the sign. How does the left respond? The left responds by saying, well, that place was closed already. If you had done any research, you already know that. How much money did they steal before they closed? Why isn't anybody on the political left interested in the theft? Some things don't have to be defended. When Trump comes out with an absolutely stupid post about Rob Reiner, the film director who was murdered by his own son, you know what I say? That's dumb. Because when something's dumb, you just say so. When someone is stealing, you don't say, well, I'd love to talk about it, but it might help Trump, so therefore I can't, therefore I won't. Do you know how much you hate yourself and how much you hate others? As was pointed out by Tom Bevan over at Real Clear Politics, no coverage from the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, or the Minneapolis Star Tribune about the fraud. And there's a community note on X that says, the New York Times did run a story. A story is not coverage. It's what you do when you want to say, well, we talked about it. No, you didn't. Russia, Russia, Russia was front page news based on allegations. None of those people did any reporting. But here's this guy, Nick Shirley, just going from door to door, asking questions, getting threatened, all the rest. He did the work for you. Why not go out there and say, okay, let's take this and now let's put some quote unquote real journalists on it, feel the air quotes, and go about figuring out what happened here. Why can't you do that? No, you can't do that. Instead, what you get is the ridiculous, pathetic lieutenant governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, who wants to tell you all about how she loves the Somali community.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Peggy Flanagan. I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today. I am incredibly clear that the Somali community is part of the fabric of the state of Minnesota.
Let's say it is. She's wearing a hijab. Now, she's only wearing the head covering. She's not wearing the full body covering. She's not Muslim. What the hell are you doing? But this is Peggy Flanagan. And Peggy Flanagan, she does a lot of interesting things. Like she wears t-shirts that say protect trans kids, and the t-shirt has knives on it. Like she's going to stab you if you want to do anything to kids, which is weird because when people like Peggy Flanagan get a hold of knives, they mutilate kids. I want to say for the record, I'm not accusing Peggy Flanagan, the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, of ever mutilating a child. I am not accusing her of such things. I am saying that anybody who says protect trans kids is okay with them being mutilated. I apologize for nothing. So she's all sorts of tough. She's all sorts of leftist, and being true to being a liberal white woman, the worst of the worst in American culture. She puts on the head covering and she says, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Peggy Flanagan.
If you want to know what people like myself worry about when we talk about submitting to other cultures, well, here you go. If you are an Islamist, you're like, oh my gosh, we are winning. Because as we have seen from liberal white women like Peggy Flanagan, they will give up their daughters, they will give up the children, they will give up themselves to show how good and kind they are. Can't you just be like, hey, you can't paint the entire Somali community with a broad brush, but the people who are involved in fraud and crimes, we should absolutely arrest those people. If they're American citizens, throw them in jail. If they're not American citizens, deport them. See how easy that is? It's pretty easy stuff. You don't have to put on a head covering like you've been having some kind of masturbatory fantasy about Handmaid's Tale and go out there and say, look how much I care. You see, you think you're just play acting. You think it's just dress up. It's like all those students at Columbia University. Oh, look how oppressed we are. Just like the Palestinians, we can't even get water. There's a Subway sandwich shop quite literally in the building that you took over. Wasn't there a Subway in there? You could have ordered it on your Uber Eats app. But no, they play act. They pretend. They have nothing wrong in their lives, so they have to constantly find ways that they are being abused and oppressed so they can think they have value in this world. Can't you simply say that the people who did nothing wrong should not be put in the same category as the people who did something wrong? You have to wear the head covering. You have to submit to their Islamic ideology. The midterms are November 3rd, and now you know why these elections matter so much. Because they matter plenty. Because people like Peggy Flanagan think they should be in charge. That woman's out of her head. She is remarkably stupid and incredibly dangerous. And you don't let your daughters grow up to be like Peggy Flanagan. Absolutely not. In no way, shape, or form. The fraud in Minnesota. The culture in Minnesota. The lack of reporting about Minnesota. It's a trifecta of what's happened to us. What's going on with us? What is the problem with us? What in the world are we supposed to do with this information, with what it is that we're seeing? Billions of dollars worth of theft. A mainstream media that will not report on it. Elected officials who want to defend those who did the thieving. And then have the audacity to call you a racist for noticing. And they engage in an education and an indoctrination of children that leads to this. This is a teenage girl in Minnesota, and she is as described Somalian, and she right here. Well, I'll play it for you. You listen.
Support everyone, and because like people deserve to be here, because we shouldn't be illegal when this is literally like stolen land.
We deserve to be here, and people shouldn't be considered, or we, meaning Somalians, shouldn't be considered illegal because we're on stolen land. Stop sending your kid to public schools. Start working on ending the teachers' unions. Run for your school board. Break it in half. End the unions. End Randy Weingarten's disgusting, despicable hold on our children. She is a danger to our kids. Stolen land. Now, you want me to argue with a child? I don't argue with children. That's just that's not going to work. But she learned that somewhere, and she learned that from adults who have been pushing this on our kids for decades. It did have an effect, and it is dangerous, and it's still happening. And every single school, college out there that engages some level of teaching teachers and creating teachers is failing massively. Stolen land. The history of the world is stolen land. What next? It's all stolen land. It's a nonsense, garbage argument of children. That's what a 13-year-old says. Who the hell listens to a 13-year-old? Except for a mainstream media, for example, when they want to push Greta Thunberg and say, look what you're doing to the environment. How dare you? These things are connecting in ways that are kind of hard to unsee. They're connecting in ways that are just flat out dangerous. And look at the line. Well, we can't be illegal. You stole the land. I mean, she's a child. But the adults who taught her that adult is stupid. And we should say so. And we should end the teachers' unions, and we should tell them to get other jobs. I don't care if you can pay your mortgage. Look what you're doing to an entire generation. Sorry, generations, plural. And look at what the left is doing when confronted with horrific fraud. Not working to end it, but working to say you're a xenophobe. Not a xenophobe. Anybody involved in this fraud needs to go to jail. And anybody involved in the fraud who's a non-citizen needs to be deported along with their children. Don't care what the courts say. Goodbye. You aren't welcome to be a citizen. You're not. But it does go deeper. including how can we allow immigration from nations that are not interested in assimilation? Because this is the conversation of assimilation. We think that this is just a conversation of fraud. I think it's deeper than that. I think everybody knows it, but they're afraid to say so. And then they think they can call you a xenophobe or a racist or a bigot to get you to stop. Nah. I think there are a lot of fraudsters in history. Some of them are American citizens. Bernie Madoff, for example. Some of them aren't. And some things are cultural. So we should discuss that. But the media won't talk. The mainstream media won't talk about fraud because it might look good for Trump as opposed to we have to put an end to the fraud. And if that doesn't get you motivated to vote in November of 2026, my God, I don't even want to know you. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz Today. Holy moly. Vegas was good. Vegas was very good. I did not gamble. I did a tiny bit. I lost $90. Yeah. Producer Landon thinks I'm fine. I'm still thinking about that $90. I went for the food. I did. And I ate very well. And I had one of the finest meals of my life in Las Vegas at Momofuku. Just surreal. Surreal, special, stunning, absolutely stunning meal. Just special. So I'll talk about it because the issues with Vegas are legit. Now, also expecting Trump is going to meet with Netanyahu, and that is supposed to be a presser that goes live. So I've got that to get to at 1 o'clock. Have I ever seen $90 worth of ham and eggs? That's a weird question. What? I don't understand what's happening here. Why am I being asked about such things? I don't quite I don't quite get it in the slightest. All right, let's get back to the show. It's good to be back. It's good to be here.
You, in the past, have suggested a trilateral meeting between both Presidents Putin and Zelenskyy. Is
Right.
that something that is also on the docket?
I see that happening, sure, at the right time. I saw a very interesting President Putin today. I mean, he wants to see it happen. He wants to see it. He told me very strongly. I believe him. Don't forget, we went through the Russia hoax together. And he'd call me, I'd call him, I'd say, can you believe the stuff that they're making up? And it turned out we were right. They made it all up. And despite that, we didn't get into wars and we didn't get into problems, but we weren't able to trade very much or any of that, which was a shame because, you know, a lot of success could have been had by trading with Russia. They have great land, great minerals and other things, and we have things that they want very badly.
Like food. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. That's President Trump, Mar-a-Lago with Vlodymyr Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, once again talking about a peace deal. Zelenskyy came to town. He's like, hey, can we meet somewhere warm? And Trump was like, got you covered, kitten. Bring your swim trunks. I don't know. Just the idea of Trump saying that made me happy. Zelenskyy knows he's given up land. Now, they can claim, well, we have to call for a vote in the Ukrainian parliament. And, you know, Mr. President, if you'd like to come, you know, we'd love to have you. It'd be fantastic. Why don't you come on out? Why don't you come on out to Ukraine? Oh, the weather, it's terrible, but still, we've got cocoa.
No problem with doing it. We don't anticipate it. Would like to get the deal done and not necessarily have to go. I've offered to go and speak to their parliament. And, you know, if that would help, I don't know if that would help. I think it would probably help, but I don't even know if that's.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, I know.
Always.
So I'm not sure that it would be really necessary, but if it would help save 25,000 lives a month or whatever it may be, I would certainly be willing to do that.
Of course, Zelenskyy would love to have Trump come to Ukraine. If anything, just to see some of the damage firsthand, of course he would. Putin's crazy, but he's not crazy. So I'm not as concerned about Trump's safety. One of the problems is that the Russian military are a bunch of morons. Now, they're morons who can kill Ukrainians. They're morons who can kill you, but they are morons. They are inept. They don't know how to keep control of their drones. They don't have any technological prowess. They've got nuclear weapons that they threaten to use, and that's that. But the story here is that in order to get this peace deal done, land will be given up, and it seems to be understood now by everybody. The land will be given up. To which we are saying, hey, Russia, you were the aggressor. Hey, your aggression worked. Now, you don't have to want to support Ukraine, but you have to admit what happened. And now what does that lead to? Well, that's another story. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz today. Hey, first of all, you should have used the line, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" Or is that what you're trying to do there? Is that what that is? You're doing Big Lebowski, right? Cut off your Johnson. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. So okay. The money's stolen. I can't get the money back, but maybe we can get some people thrown in jail. The money stolen is horrifying. Again, why would anybody be okay with that? But I think there is a larger scale conversation, Dark Rogue, which is Russia just got rewarded for being violent. Is what is. They got rewarded for being violent. And they'll do it again. And they will do it again. A lot of show to get to. Tell all your friends that you are here. Let's build up this fine morning audience. Well, midday audience. It's not morning anymore. And let's see what else is going on. Let's see. The announcement will come next week, but we add Charlotte next week, starting January 5th. We'll be on WBT in Charlotte, North Carolina. Looking forward to that. So I think that press release will go out Monday. Just finishing that up. Of course, we are doing it up. Trump 1 year later, the highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Want to get this thing sold out? Need your help to do it? Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Want to make it happen? I'm very curious about, I really had this plan for this over the top, fun, spectacular event. And I'm like, you know what? People want, I think people definitely want to be entertained. But man, I've been talking about it, and I kind of willed it into existence. People are not thrilled with this economy. And I think money's tight in a lot of places. Right? I get that. So my job is to make sure I'm giving you your money's worth and then some. That's my plan. That is my plan. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Get your tickets. Do it right now. Right now, buy 100 tickets. Make it happen. And at the event, I will be, see that right there? See that? See that right there? That's the newest. That's the newest. Yeah, I've been working. I've been busy, to say the least. Yes, we're going to talk about Tucker and Candace. No, I don't feel good about it. But it has to get done. And I'll take your calls, I'll take your thoughts. How in the world do I build a coalition when you can't build a coalition with some people? The radio show is back. Let's get into it, guys. Yes, my dear friends, I'm afraid we do have to talk indeed about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. I see that this is bothering you. I hear you. I get it, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen right about now. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. I don't know, just was in the mood, so that's what I played for you. I have been so I was on vacation last week. I was in Las Vegas, and what I can tell you is had one of the best meals of my life, had fantastic meals all the way around. Vegas was empty, beyond empty. And when you charge $7 for a bottle of water, that's why, Vegas. You're out of your damn minds. Better said, just who the hell do you think you are? People have spoken. They don't need you. And you have things to offer. They don't need your crap. They don't need your abuse. $7 cups of coffee, $10 cups of coffee. The gelato in the Caesar Forum shops for a small, I believe, was $13. $13? No. I went over to Italy. It was $7. Also, $7. You charge the damn fee for the resort fees. You pay a resort fee to access the pool. The pool's closed for winter. Who the hell are you? You deserve all the derision you get. You deserve the hate you get. And there's a reason people aren't showing up like they used to. Now, admittedly, Christmas week is a very, very slow week in Vegas, which is why I love it. I waited for nothing. And to the question of did I tip? Yes, I tipped. However, there is a serious, maddening tipping thing going on across the country. If I am buying a cup of coffee, right? That's all I'm doing. Buying a cup of coffee, and you ask me for a tip, you're wrong. If I buy a bottle of water, and the machine asks me for a tip, you're wrong. I can leave one if I choose. I can leave $1. But don't. No, it's not Starbucks. No. I try very hard not to go to Starbucks. Everywhere. Everywhere is in this tipping thing, this tipping insanity, and they start at 18%. And then they go up to 22%. They want you tipping 25, 30%. You're out of your heads. And I'm not tipping for nonsense. Don't be silly. I'm tipping for service, which I received. I went to Morimoto at the MGM for sushi. I went to Momofuku in the Cosmopolitan for dinner. Momofuku is brilliant. Not good, not great, not exceptional. It's brilliant. Brilliant is Momofuku. I did go. We wanted to try Italian, so I did go to Buddy Vellastro's place, Cake Boss, there at the Venetian. It was better than I thought it would be. And then I ended up in the Conrad, which is where the Crockford's is, the Hilton, and they had a Mexican place, Viva is it Ray Garcia? Way better than I thought it would be. Like there was an afterthought to us. We didn't have a plan there. Terrific. And in 3 of the 4 places, I think I got rather good service. I will not say where, etc. That I'm not doing. But I didn't come to talk about Vegas, although I'll gladly talk about Vegas. They have to stop with this madness of we'll charge you for this, we'll charge you for that, we'll charge you for the other, because I'm not getting, while I had these meals, I sought those out. I knew I was going to spend real money. I saved to be able to do that because that's my enjoyment. But if you actually go there with a family, it is impossible. You're ridiculous. And the $7 water bullcrap. Screw that. You deserve to be hated. And people don't need to go there and gamble because they can gamble, well, anywhere. You can gamble anywhere now. My God, the app is on my phone. You think I need you? I got to sit there next to some 90-year-old with an oxygen tank smoking 3 cigarettes at a time going, oh, this is the stuff. Oh, I hope I get 3 cherries. I'm going to pay off my scooter. Menthol. Nobody needs that. Oh, and by the way, you're given less in the drinks, and sometimes you're not even given the drinks while people are gambling. What the hell is wrong with you? What do you think we're there for? The pleasure of giving you our dollars? Screw that. What happened to a comp? What happened to comp meals? What happened to a comp drink, a comp room, a comp anything? Where is it? Why don't you deliver? We don't need you. None of you are going to treat us like this. So get your head out of your butt. All right. That's Vegas. Speaking of heads and butts, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. No? No, yes, maybe? It was a weird weird thing to see this from Tucker. This was Tucker Carlson doing a podcast with a group called American Conservative. I'm going to play for you the question and what he said.
Interesting. TPUSA did a poll during AmFest, or I guess it was after AmFest, and they asked the audience, what they considered to be the greatest threat to America. And they did put radical Islam at number one. I'm wondering where you think those sentiments are coming from. I mean, I've heard you say before that this is an op and that we all know which foreign government it's actually coming from. Which government is it? And can you explain how that operation works? How is it, kind of lured into those?
From the Israeli government and its many defenders and informal employees in the United States, of course. And I guess I would just say if that was actually, I don't know how people responded to the poll. I don't know who answered it, but, I believe in measuring reality a little more empirically. And, I don't know anyone in the United States in the last 24 years who's been killed by radical Islam.
That's just stupid. Tucker, that's just stupid. You can't possibly think you can push that story on America and not get pushback. That is stupid. And I don't think Tucker's stupid, but he clearly wants you to believe him. He wants you to be stupid. You don't know anybody in the past 24 years that has died from radical Islam? The entire conversation about Islamists is nothing more than an Israeli psyop? Tucker. Bitch, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You know that that's not true. You know that the Islamist is an issue because you used to talk about it on Fox. Did you forget? Does the Qatari money make you blind to your past? Well, I have no proof that Tucker is getting all the Qatari money. I'm just asking, what in the world would make you say this? If it's not the Qatari money, what then? Answer. Jackie Che. I don't know Jackie Che. No idea who she is. She put out a quick list. Right here of, some things that have happened since September 11th, because that's why Tucker said 24 years. The Fort Hood shooting in 2009, the Boston Marathon bombing in 2013, the San Bernardino attack in 2015, the Pulse nightclub, remember that, in Orlando? That was 2016. New York City truck attack, which was 2017, the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, which was 2019. And then we started 2025, New Year's Day, with an Islamist who drove his truck through the streets of New Orleans, killed 12 people. And then, of course, just a month ago, 2 National Guard troops were shot. Islamist. What the hell are you talking about? Islamists are a psyop from the Israelis? Do you know how dumb you have to be to believe that? Do you know how much of a liar you have to be to say that? And even if you were to believe something that's insane, which history shows us is not the case, if only for from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, to say you don't know anybody killed is just an insult on insults. But it's not done because Candace Owens wants to play in this game. Candace Owens had a post going back to 2019. And the post reads, "With you, brother," I don't know who she's responding to. "Time's up on this nonsense. This country was built upon Judeo-Christian values. The left routinely mocks Christians, defends anti-Semitism, and yet demands we all shut up about Islam. No, no, and no, she writes. We are going to talk about it. You can see the date right there is March 18th, 2019. What does she write? On December 26th, December 26th, 2025, she writes, no matter how hard the GOP tries to make radical Islam happen, the base doesn't care about it. We are way more concerned about Israel. You can deny reality and scream about Tucker, but the party can no longer be governed by those who refuse to acknowledge the Zionist elephant in the room. So now you want to again play in the insanity game that the discussion regarding Islamists is made up? You think it's deflection? We've been discussing this for years. I have been discussing this since I first, as a young man, became aware of the issue when they threw Leon Klinghoffer off the Achille Lauro in his freaking wheelchair. I would argue that both Tucker and Candace are stupid, but that's not it. But are they engaged in something that is radical and gross and wrong and ugly? And are they wrong? Absolutely. Now we get into the even more fundamental question. How in the world do I engage a coalition to re-elect Republicans in 2026 in the midterms if they're a part of the coalition? I have got thoughts. Those are coming up. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back. Tony Katz Today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. I guarantee you when we post these things, I will get more commentary about the Vegas stuff than I will Tucker and Candace. There are times where I seriously consider saying, screw it. Why am I doing anything political whatsoever? It should all be culture stuff from around the country. Constantly, nothing but. People are more interested. I think it might be more fun. Anyway, good to be here. Good to be with you. Good. It is good to be back. You know, I do 2 shows a day. So sometimes in between, it's like, all right, getting yourself geared back up and everything else. Once a minute, it's pretty fantastic. It is. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're a part of it. Let me get the comments back up there for everybody to see. Well, thank you, Gettle. I just think I need to do more of the other stuff. I do. I think for my own sanity. I think that's the way to go there. Just for my own sanity. And I'm thinking, I've been talking about a studio redo. Right? I think this works, but I don't know, I might angle things and do a much wider version of the whole studio. So I think is coming. I think. Anyway, we do have a bunch more to get to. And is everything still on track for Trump and Netanyahu? Yes, it is, which means he'll be an hour late. It's so what it means. It's 1,000% what it means. We'll be back to the radio show in a minute. I'm trying to figure out my New Year's plans. Trying to see because there's a strong possibility I will do nothing and it will be glorious. There's nothing wrong with doing nothing on New Year's. Some people are big New Year's people. I never have been. It's never been my want, my thing. I don't know. I like the idea of going out, but something, not insane. Something not insane would be pretty great. Coming back to the radio show, if you've got an idea for New Year's, let me know. Are you going to downtown Indy, Producer Landon? Oh, well, you know. Wall Street Journal with the headline, "Goodbye, gentle parenting. Hello, F around and find out." Yes, this is good. Tony Katz today. Oh, I hope this is true. I hope this is true. Parents are ditching the softer approach to child rearing that has dominated the culture and taking a harder line. Out feral, they're feral. Maybe the problem is you let the kids get feral. Actually having this conversation over a cigar over the weekend. And one of the things that I do want to do is I do want to do more conversation about this. Every parent must start with a basic thesis. Parents are not friends. They're parents. It's a very different role. And if you're one of these people, men or women, who are like, oh, my kid is my best friend, you're doing it wrong. You're wrong. Now, who am I to tell people how to parent? Well, I'm not here to tell you. You don't have to listen to me. But parents are not friends. They are parents. It's a different role. Your kid can make friends, but they only have one mom and they only have one dad, and that's that. Tony, they can have two dads. Would you please shut up and let me do my job? Being the parent means being direct and being focused. It means explaining things the way they are, not the way that makes the kid feel good. And it's not about being feral or out feraling the feral. It's about knowing when you have to end something. You have to end the madness. Now, there's also a difference in parenting between husbands and wives, how mothers and fathers do things. That's part of what makes it so good. Kids need that. You need what a mom offers. You need what a dad offers. I didn't say it was easy, especially when you're a father, to have to be direct and be like, man, I just crushed him, but, or crushed her, but, man, they're going to take that rough, but it has to get done sometimes because you're the parent, not the friend. If we start there, everyone will be better off. This is Tony Katz today. I apologize for nothing. Zero. By the way, I don't smoke cigars like this. It's just my other hand wasn't there. Some people smoke a cigar like this. No. I mean, you can, but no. I'm this. Some people do this, and I have every now and again, but mostly I'm in between, right there. That's how it goes. This is the La Aurora, Cameroon. This then was in 1903. Yeah, it was 1903. Easy smoke. Actually, a little stronger than I thought it would be. But I think I got this for $6 or $7 a stick. And for $6 or $7 a stick, bravissimo. Okay, we are in the break. And while we are in the break for radio, we will take the break here. What's going on here with the Prime Minister and the President, Donald Trump? That is still on? For one, that's still on. Let's see. That will begin shortly, so we'll keep an eye on that. I will bring that to you. Get your tickets right now for Trump 1 year later, the highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. It's going to be fantastic. I've been told to tell the ladies, cocktail attire is just fine. Guys, look good for your ladies. Would you? Just look good. Just do that. That's all I can ask. Yes, that means pants. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. The bourbon, the food, the laughs. I've got giveaways. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so fantastic. I will not let you down. Join me. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Trump 1 year later. And this, hold on a second. I have to yell at somebody. Sweatpants are not pants. I know they've got pants in the name, but you know what? No, your ticket price went up. That's what just happened right there. That's sweatpants. I will cut somebody. I will. No, not pajama pants. Pretend you're going on a plane. None of that. And by the way, I did suit up on the plane. I did. Of course I did. That's all there is. That's what I do. So listen, smoke them if you got them. Hang loose for a minute. Radio show's in break. We will be in break. Keep it here, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Tony Katz. That's me. How are you? Not welcome back, Tony Katz. Welcome back. My name is Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Good to be here. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com, which has been growing great. Appreciate all the new subscribers that we have going on over there. It's been kind of fantastic. Go to TonyKatz.com, subscribe. You can do it for free. You can be a member. Either way, greatly appreciate it for sure. People want me to bring back the Zoot Suits. Only if there could be a riot and I can throw back a bottle of beer. That's a song, people. That is a song. And honestly, if you want to show up to the event in a Zoot suit, fine by me. Trump 1 year later. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Get your tickets right now. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Trump 1 year later. We started this thing as a red tie gala, big fun thing, looking back at the last year, and things got serious real quick, man. Things got serious real quick. I gotta be looking at the midterms. We need to figure this one out. And I ain't gonna lie. I have a plan. I am not one of these people who's like, nah, it's over. Far from it. I believe that the midterms are outrageously winnable. And there's a way to do this. And that's where we're going to get into this conversation regarding coalition. How do you have a coalition with some people who are clearly out of their damn heads, but they have these very large audiences? What do you do about this? How does a group like Turning Point bridge the gap? And even more than them, how do we bridge the gap right there? Meanwhile, the president is meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel. That's happening right here, right now. I thought that was happening right now. Was that the earlier meeting? Oh, that's right, because they're in Florida. C-SPAN. They I don't know what they did. They misdirected me right there. So that's going to come, and when it does, I will bring it to you. Guaranteed your money back. President Trump to meet with President Zelenskyy. Prime Minister. Nope. I meant Netanyahu. He already met with President Zelenskyy. Now he's meeting with the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. First it was Ukraine yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, and now it's Israel today. To which it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, who said, Zelenskyy, Netanyahu, what happened to America first? Felicia. The president of the United States shouldn't meet with world leaders? Is this your argument? Why don't you just retire already, Marjorie Taylor Greene? Go get your job over at CNN or at The View or wherever the hell you're going to end up. Just leave, you absolutely ridiculous child. I get it. You're angry. You wanted to run for Senate. The White House showed you internal polling that said you weren't going to win the Senate, and you're so angry you've decided to burn it all down. And you support Tucker Carlson saying that Islamists aren't an issue? You can't leave fast enough. Man, if I only had control of the space lasers. Tony Katz. Did I say hello? Tony Katz today? Guys, good to be here. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. Smoking from La Aurora. This is the Cameroon. I think it's the 1903. That is what I am smoking today. I do smoke during the show, and I don't apologize for it whatsoever. If it offends some people, I don't know what to tell you. There's always Clay and Buck. I don't think they smoke during the show. The president is going to meet with Netanyahu. Now, there were some people who were thinking this is a real problem because Netanyahu wants Trump to continue the pressure on Iran and go about engaging in another attack to put an end to any capability they have to anything militarily. A couple things within that. First and foremost, the people who were upset that we took out Iran's nuclear capability, that's a very, very odd set of folk. The Tuckers and Candaces, I assume Candace there, the Dave Smiths, etc. It is one thing to make an argument about policy. It's another thing to make an argument about, hey, let's gamble. There's this constant conversation regarding Israel about, well, you can't have a conversation about Israel with these people because they'll always tell you how you're an anti-Semite. If you start with the idea of Israel is genocidal, well, first, you're daft. So you might as well be a celebrity making a video. And you should be called out for it, for being an absolute lying fraud. Because it starts with a real gross failure of the person engaged in the conversation to recognize that war is hell is not just a phrase. It has a real effect on people. The argument of the Dave Smiths of the world is that Israel should not be allowed to engage in any response. That in and of itself should not be allowed. It's a weird position to take. And it is such a weird position to take that you can't actually point to the place with ease and say, where else does that happen? Where else does that take place? Where else does that in any way connect or compute? Hamas are the terrorists. Hamas is the reason anybody in Gaza suffers. Remember when they would call it an open-air prison? Well, if Gaza was an open-air prison, Hamas was the warden. We all know this. We're past this part of it. If you want to discuss that Israel shouldn't get money from us, okay. Okay. Now, this used to be the philosophy of people like, for example, Congressman Thomas Massie. Massey's philosophy has changed, and I have shown issue with that because it has. It's changed aggressively and unnecessarily. You don't think that Israel should get any support? All right, I happen to disagree with that. But I also disagree with the philosophy that support for other nations is a bad thing as opposed to providing us value. Again, this goes back to the conversation of Ukraine and Russia. I said we should, from the beginning, I am well on the record. We should give Ukraine bullets. We should give Ukraine guns. We should give Ukraine other armaments. But I never favored a no-fly zone. Why? Because if the United States gets involved in patrolling a no-fly zone, and now you have this Russian MiG coming into the no-fly zone, how do you get it out of the no-fly zone? You have put the United States at war with Russia. I was not there for that. That isn't the place we should have been. But by not being more proactive, and now seeing how Ukraine is coming to the table saying, okay, we're going to have to give up land. We're going to give up these areas of the Donbass, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia. There's a conversation of a nuclear facility there. And Russia's saying, we've already now won this thing. Now we're only talking about how much land we're going to get. We want it all. We want it all. We didn't get involved the way maybe we should have gotten involved. We didn't get involved stronger, earlier, tougher. We had these people who say Ukraine's none of our concern, and Russia will now get rewarded for its aggression. The question before us is, where's the value in that? Hamas, sponsored by the Iranians, the Ayatollah, murdered 1,200 people, not all Israelis, and 3 years later, 2 years later, 2.5 years later, Spain and Canada and the UK and Australia recognize Palestine as a state. They got what they wanted. They got what they wanted. And the immediate response from the anti-Israel set when Israel engaged back was, look at what terrible thing you're doing. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. What happened to this? What makes the last 2.5 years so remarkable, 2 years, let's call it, because there is a quasi ceasefire peace deal going on. It isn't being honored by anybody perfectly, not being honored by the Palestinians and Hamas, and then not being honored by Israel because, well, Hamas isn't honoring the thing. So why in the world should they honor and the argument was somehow that Israel was supposed to just take it. And when Israel didn't take it, that reset the mind for a lot of people. Like, what's happening here? What's going on here? Why isn't Israel doing exactly what they're supposed to do? Because Israel said, okay, we're done here. We don't care. These people have to go. We're not living like this anymore. The Israeli people changed on a dime. And the leftists and pseudo-intellectual, what do you call them when they're not war hawks? That's it, pansies. They couldn't figure out what they were supposed to do. So they engaged in this insanity pressure campaign about genocide, which, of course, the only genocidal people is Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Ayatollah. End of list. It's not the Israelis. But, here comes Netanyahu, and Netanyahu wants Trump to start another war with Iran, always wants the United States to start another war with Iran. What happened to the recognition of good guys and bad guys? Where did that go? We can't state that the Russians are the bad guys. We can't state that the Iranians, the Ayatollah, is the bad guy. This story out of the Wall Street Journal with the weirdest headline about how they're loosening social restrictions in Iran, but they're crushing dissent. They're not crushing dissent. They have executed over 1,800 people in Iran this year. Those are the people that somehow I'm supposed to play nice with, that I'm supposed to think are somehow decent and good, aren't a threat. Are we all out of our heads? Can we not say that there are good people and bad people, good actors and bad actors? I am not saying that anyone is perfect. I'm I'm not saying that the Israelis don't deserve any level of derision. They do many things that you could say that's wrong or that's wrong or that's wrong. Taking out terrorists? Well, they're not taking out terrorists. They're bombing poor, defenseless Palestinians. Did I start or did I not start with war is hell? Can I help you? They hide under the hospitals and they hide under the schools. Where is the argument for Hamas is the problem? And since there is no argument for that in any large measure, well, we see a fundamental flaw. And then you get people like this, ignorantly sad people, simping for Israel is a bold move. This isn't even a conversation about Israel. See, this is exactly it. The argument is you can't just have a conversation about policy. I'm having a conversation about policy. Oh, nope, it's simping. S-I-M-P-I-N-G. Simp. To simp. Or the act of being a simp. Grown-ups understand that there are good actors and bad actors. There are worthy allies and there are unworthy allies. I think Israel's the worthy ally. You don't want to send the money? Oh, okay. You don't want to send the money. The argument, somehow they're wrong in noticing that Iran is a threat to everyone. They've executed 1,800 of their own people. The Israelis are right. Why wouldn't we support them in taking out the people who want to do us harm? Well, they're not doing us harm because you've got the Tucker Carlsons of the world and the Candace Owenses of the world saying, oh, you don't have to worry about the Islamists. The Islamist isn't the issue. It's just an Israeli psyop. You know that that's insane. Of course you do. The data tells you that. Yet this is what they put out there. This is how they try and engage it. So now we go back to it and ask ourselves the question. I'm here more than willing to have a conversation about Israeli policy. Is that what they're having a conversation about? No. What they're having a conversation about is saying that Israel should not be an ally and Israel should not exist. That's their argument. That the nations that do the evil should be left alone, and the nations having the evil done to them are the issue. That's what we're dealing with here. That's what we're seeing here. I take Israel's side over Iran's side every day of the week and twice on Sunday. It doesn't mean I agree with everything Israel does. I take Saudi Arabia's side over Iran's side every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And I don't like everything Saudi Arabia does. And I still say that we didn't treat them the way we needed to after September 11th. I'm still bothered and unforgivable by George Bush, in my view. So Netanyahu's in town, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset about it. Let her just retire and go get her job at CNN. You don't have to agree with everything. I never asked you to agree with everything. Certainly, if you don't think that Israel should exist, I think that that's gross. It's just weird. You don't think Israel should be able to fight back and take out the terrorist threat that is a threat to them on every part of their border? I think that's messed up. I think that's to deny reality. I think those people should be dismissed. But it's weird that Trump would have a sit down with the prime minister of Israel or the president of Ukraine or any other nation. That's just weird, kids. That's just weird. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Yeah, so I have some great trolls. Look, he's angry. Okay, go leave the chat. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, have a nice day. If you spend your life worrying about whether somebody has more followers than you, there's no way to do it. There's no way to do it. But all those kinds of lines are all about never engaging conversation, never honestly addressing conversation, but rather how can I tear down and how can I destroy? How can I rip apart? This is it. There's no desire to discuss it. There's only a desire to try trying to tear someone down. That's all. That's all there is. It's become the way of the world, and it's ugly stuff. Oh God, I do not know about you, but Twitter over the past month is more horrifying than ever before. Ever before. So to the troll, Charlie, he wanted attention. I gave him the attention by calling out the post, and now he thinks it's weird that you gave him attention. Like, that's the standard operating procedure. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. So the National Guard gets blocked by the Supreme Court. This is for use in Illinois. It was a 6-3 decision to block Trump from deploying the National Guard in Chicago. I believe this is a mistake. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. The fundamental here is whether or not the president can decide when an emergency is in place. Who gets to make that call? If it's not the president, who does? Who gets to make the decision? There was a lawsuit. Trump invokes federal law to federalize about 300 members of the National Guard and deploy them to protect federal personnel, federal buildings, property, things like that. Trump administration argues that there are protesters obstructing, right? This is actually a good write-up from Fox News there. They're assaulting and threatening ICE officers, and the National Guard was needed because Illinois would not engage this. They didn't put local law enforcement on it, so therefore something had to be done. Illinois goes about saying, oh, no. The Trump administration didn't satisfy any criteria in the law because it states that the president can only use these reserve forces when he was, quote, unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. So what the Supreme Court ruled, is that, yes, the lower court decisions will be upheld as things continue to move through the courts. What Trump wanted to do is say, hey, I still want to be able to do this. Let things move through the courts, but I should still be allowed to do this. The Supreme Court did not give him this. The unsigned order from the court orders that regular forces meant the U.S. military, not ICE or other civilian law enforcement. So, if we're engaged honestly, Trump could send in units, troops, however you want to call it, to deal with any threat to federal buildings, federal property. Not necessarily ICE, because that is of a different jurisdiction, a different category. Samuel Alito out there with a dissent saying, what in the bloody heck are we doing? Whatever one may think about the current administration's enforcement of the immigration laws or the way ISIS conducted its operations, the protection of federal officers from potentially lethal attacks should not be thwarted. Under the court's interpretation, writes Alito, National Guard members could arrest and process aliens who are subject to deportation, but they would lack statutory authorization to perform purely protective functions. Our country has traditionally been wary of using soldiers as domestic police, but it has been comfortable with their use for purely protective purposes. His argument is we are engaging in something here that can only lead to danger. Since when is that our standard? If asked, I don't like the mass sending out of National Guard troops across these cities. But dear gosh, I'd much rather start seeing some safety and security. And why aren't these other states providing it? Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. All right, there's Trump, there's Netanyahu. Let's bring it to them right here.
6,000 young, beautiful soldiers, and plus some people in Kiev, and relatively small, but a lot, still people, and it's a lot.
Yes, they both got the memo.
26,000 soldiers were killed last month. Yeah, please.
President Trump, are you going to allow Turkish forces, and do you expect Turkish forces to be stationed in Gaza?
So I have a great relationship with President Erdogan, and we'll be talking about it. And if it's good, I think that's good. And a lot will be having to do with Bibi. We're going to be talking about that. But Turkey's been great.
I think Trump needs
and he's been, excellent as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about you. To me, he's been very good.
Can we get another question?
Sure.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu and how important it is for you to see him be pardoned by the Israeli president?
Look, he's a wartime prime minister. He's done a phenomenal job. He's taken Israel through a very dangerous period of trauma. Israel with other people might not exist right now. He's taken Israel through a very dangerous period of trauma. Israel with other people might not exist right now, if you want to know the truth. That's a pretty big statement, but it's true. I feel that. You had the wrong prime minister. Israel right now would not exist because they were met with a force, the likes of which very few countries could have handled. And we worked together, and we were extremely victorious, to put it mildly. Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, that's much smarter. They could have made a deal the last time before we went through, a big attack on them, and they decided not to make the deal. They wish they made that deal. So I think, again, they should make a deal. They want to make a deal, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Yeah, please.
Mr. Trump, Nadav Elimelech, 24 News Israel. Would you support the overthrow of the Iranian regime?
Who?
Iranian regime.
I'm not going to talk about overthrow of a regime. They've got a lot of problems that are in. They have tremendous inflation. Their economy is bust. Their economy is no good. And I know that people aren't so happy, but don't forget, every time they have a riot or somebody forms a group, little or big, they start shooting people. They kill people. And the people tend to, I've watched this for years. There's tremendous discontent. They form 100,000, 200,000 people. All of a sudden, people start getting shot. And that group disbands pretty quickly. So I've watched it for years. They're vicious people, yeah.
Mr. President, will you support an attack, Israeli attack on Iran if Iran will not have a deal? If Iran will continue with their ballistic missiles and also nuclear weapons?
If they will continue with the missiles, yes. The nuclear, fast. Okay? One will be yes, absolutely. The other was, we'll do it immediately.
Mr. President, one of us from Channel 12 News. What are your plans regarding Gaza for the next few weeks?
Well, we're going to be dealing on Gaza. That's why this very great prime minister is here right now. We're talking about Gaza. We're talking about a lot of things. We have about 5 major subjects that we're discussing, and Gaza will be one of those subjects.
Mr. President, can you guarantee that the last hostages and Philip will be released before we continue to the second phase of the Gaza plan?
Well, let's put it this way. Every hostage just about that's been released was released because of me, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, my whole team, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth. They were all released because of us. None were released in the Biden administration. None. They were all released because of us. Then we had a lack of releases with respect to the dead. And all of a sudden they started coming back because I said, nope, you said you were going to. We have one wonderful young man whose parents are right now inside. And he's what beautiful parents, a beautiful brother, sister, and like a beautiful family, and they're waiting for their son. It's the only one left, and we're doing everything we can to get his body back. And the parents just said, hopefully he's alive. And I said, I'd love you to think that way.
That's brutal. Brutal. Tony Katz today, President Trump, Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, answering questions for the press at Mar-a-Lago, where they've just had a meeting where Trump said, hey, listen, if Iran still has nuclear capabilities, we're going to take it out. We're going to do it immediately. That goes without saying, and also trying to get the body of one hostage back alive, dead. Questions that remain unanswered. Let's take it back to the question and answer.
Does the reconstruction of Gaza will begin even before Hamas is disarmed?
I think it's going to begin pretty soon, yeah.
Before Hamas
He's looking forward to it, so am I. Look, what a mess. What a mess it is. And it's been a mess for centuries, really. It's been a mess for a long time. It's seems to be born for that, but we're gonna straighten it out. No,
you've got other nations that are involved in that rebuilding of Gaza, putting money in, having skin in the game, which was the whole point here. How it's done without Hamas out or disarmed, I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for that. That's going to be for some of these other countries to have to put pressure on Iran and on Hamas to end.
Between you and the Prime Minister.
What about it?
They said that there is no relationship, good relationship between you.
I don't think it can be better. We just won a big war together. You know, if we didn't beat Iran, you wouldn't have had peace in the Middle East because nobody would have been able, the Arab countries who have been fantastic would not have been able to make a deal. If we didn't wipe out their nuclear, we wiped it out. If we didn't wipe out with our beautiful B-2 bombers, if we didn't, and we sent a lot of Tomahawks in there also, by the way, from a submarine.
And what about the pardon that the President of Israel needs to give the Prime Minister?
A pardon? I think he will. How do you not? He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it.
Okay,
I spoke to the president.
Netanyahu has a lot of political issues inside Israel. Questions about certain malfeasance in government, etc. This has been ongoing for Netanyahu, and Trump has been very public to Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel, to give him a pardon. I think it's an odd thing to ask for. This is Israeli politics, and I don't want to be involved in that part of it. Listen, I like Netanyahu, but I've also said from the very beginning, Netanyahu was prime minister when Israel was attacked. This happened on his watch. Now that the war is quote unquote over, I'm amazed he's still in power. I'm amazed that they haven't called for a new election yet. I'm actually shocked by it because I said he's got to go. I'm amazed he's still there. Because while the Israelis may appreciate his fight, I don't think they've forgiven the action. And when you are the leader, and you're the leader based on safety and security, and you can't bring it, well, that leader oftentimes has to go.
No, they sent in all of the bad ones. They sent in some bad people. And that to me was just terrible. And they send in drugs. Now, I will say this, 97% of the drugs coming in by sea stopped. We're trying to figure out who the other 3% are. They have a hard time getting people to pilot those boats. But 97% of the drugs coming in by the ocean, by the sea, by water, are gone. Every boat that we take out, we save 25,000 lives of Americans. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you.
That was
We're
quick.
going to have a big meeting, and we'll see you in a couple of hours if you'd like. And if you'd like, you can come up and have lunch like you did yesterday. Would you like that or not? Do you want that? Because some of them think it's terrible. It's a bribe. But, you know, a bribe for $25, I don't know. If you'd like, you can go. And if you don't, you can stand in a driveway and melt. All right? But if you want, will you work on that, Margot? Is Margot doing a good job? She's a star. She's too nice. Her only problem, she's too nice to you. And you're not nice to us, but that's okay. Margot, take them up and have a beautiful lunch, and we'll see you later.
The alleged strike on Putin's residence could scuttle the peace.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. It's no good. It's no good. Don't forget, you know, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that because we're talking about, you know, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive because they're offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
Answer the question.
What? Well, it came out. Well, we'll find out. I mean, you're saying maybe the attack didn't take place. It's possible too, I guess. But President Putin told me this morning it did.
One question, Mr. President. Can you expound on the importance of a strong relationship with the state of Israel? And Mr. Prime Minister, you called President Trump the strongest friend for the state of Israel. You work with numerous administrations, numerous presidents. Can you expound on that and what makes President Trump such a strong friend for the state of Israel?
What are you going?
I'll say it again and again and again. We've never had a friend like President Trump in the White House. It's not even.
Oh, that was it. That was it right there. It ended with Netanyahu singing the praises of Trump. What else is he going to do in that moment? The conversation about Zelenskyy there, some bombing of Russia. This is the stuff that makes Trump absolutely mental. I'm trying to negotiate a peace. Would you just let me already? Stop bombing each other for seconds so we could dang well get to it already? Is that too much to ask? This is Trump's overarching philosophy. And so the fact that Russia bombed Kyiv in such a way, and then the possibility, because I have not dug into this, of Ukraine hitting some Russian spots, including places where Putin may call home or have a house. Dear Lord, that's the part that drives him crazy. They're still going. Are they still talking? I think they may still be. Oh, look. Hold on, wait. Let me double check.
Syria, because otherwise they wouldn't have had a chance. We want to see Syria survive. So we're going to be talking about Syria too. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, now they're done.
You'll have a good lunch.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The thing with the lunch is very, very funny. Trump was doing an event yesterday at Mar-a-Lago with Zelenskyy, and he says to the reporters there, like, they're all sitting at these tables, they're going to eat. He's like, do you guys want to eat? Do you guys want lunch? Is that all right? Or are you going to think that's a bribe? And he's like, hey, Margot, have the chef just whip it up. Boom, get him done. You know what? How about get some McDonald's or something else in there? We'll get that going. It'll be absolutely fine. And he's like, do you want lunch? And one reporter's like, yes, please. So now everybody's getting lunch. That's what that was all about. It's a constant thing that takes place with him. There's always some other kind of insanity that goes forward. The question, of course, of whether or not Trump is supportive of Netanyahu, I think that's an open and shut case. He is. But everything with Trump is, to a point. It's 1,000% to a point. There's only if Israel was involved in a proactive attack on name a nation, I don't think Trump would be down because it's not who he is. It's not how he fundamentally works. But there's the line there that I thought that mattered was if Iran has anything nuclear, yes, we're going to go in. Yes, we're going to engage in that fight. Yes, no question, we're going to take that out. We're going to end it. That's one heck of a statement right there. That it was said with emphasis, and that's going to drive the pseudo-intellectual left crazy. But there has to be a recognition, as we were discussing earlier. No one's perfect. What is this idea of perfect? No nation is perfect. The United States is not perfect. But if we're going to rate these things, Israel's not perfect, better than Iran. Now, if you want to argue that Iran with the Ayatollah is better than Israel, knock yourself out. I'll laugh at you. I'll laugh at you. We could be friends with South Korea, or we could be friends with China. I would rather be friends with everybody. But South Korea's got some weird politics, although they have a new leader right now, and this woman seems outrageously strong. And China is run by a communist party that wants to destroy us. What do we... Rank the things. Rate the things. Who should we be aligned with, and who should we be dealing with forcefully? That's all. That's what grown-ups do. But if we're not going to engage in a grown-up style, I got nothing. I got nothing for anybody. I'm going to engage like a grown-up. Ain't nobody perfect. But some people are better than other people. That's easy. Easily said. Keep it here. Much more to get to, including what Trump did on Christmas Day and why it matters and why every Christian needs to be focused on it. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz, that was quick. Did that go the full time? Just making sure everything's working. But it's good to be back with you. I will get into the UK story tomorrow about this Egyptian who they've allowed or out of Egyptian jails back into the UK, who is one of the most bigoted people ever. And here's Keir Starmer, the prime minister, saying, thank goodness he's back. And celebrities are like, we have to release this guy. Insufferable. What was it? Jennifer Lawrence, again, with one of these people engaging this genocide talk. They can't stop. They cannot. They think they're righteous. And it is up to us to speak out about it. But there are other things to get into, and I want to get into this conversation of what took place on Christmas Day. Now, as for Angel's Envy, I have a bottle. Do I have a triple cask right there? Yeah, well, I've got some behind me, but the full liquor cabinet's over here. So it's not a tall standing liquor cabinet. It's actually a television console that I use, except there's no TV on it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There are 30 bottles on top, and I guess I would assume there's another 50, 60 bottles around. Yeah, there's about 100 bottles in here. Oh, please. For some people, that's a very small collection. And for me, it's not a collection. I gave away, like, there were a bunch of bottles that we had done for Eat, Drink, Smoke, my cigar and bourbon show, and tasted, and then we never got back to it. And I had a friend here, and I was like, here, take this. I sent them with like 17 bottles. Go have fun. Go have fun and enjoy and do the whole thing. So I only hope they had a very Merry Christmas. I haven't spoken to them since I've been back, so I don't know. I don't collect. I sip, and that's it. And everything else, nothing should be collected. It's meant to be enjoyed. That's my take. Feel that way about cigars. I've got some pretty worthy cigars. They're all getting smoked. Absolutely. That's what they're there for. They're not there to look at. I don't understand that about cars and classic cars. I want to drive the thing. I don't want to just have it. I want to use it. Everyone's different. That's just my way. While I was on vacation, I was very, very happy to see that President Trump took a very strong action against ISIS in Nigeria, as they have been engaged in the wholesale slaughter of Christians. Tony Katz today. Join me January 24th. Trump 1 year later, red tie gala, the highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. If you've ever been to one of my events, you know they are filled with bourbon and food and good times and laughs. And I dig in deep. And this is going to be the conversation about how we win the midterms. Taking a look at Trump's last year and finding where the opportunities are, how we go about engaging the winning. And there are things there that we can use and things there that we have to correct. Massive, massive things. So it's going to be an incredible event. Downtown Indianapolis, the Hyatt Regency. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets. Do it now. The food, the bourbon. There are 3 different bourbons for everyone to try. Some VIP tickets that are still available. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Come join me. January 24th, downtown Indianapolis, the Hyatt Regency. It's going to be a spectacular, spectacular time. Cannot wait to see you there. It's going to be great. Bring your friends. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets right now. Christians have been under attack in African nations for years at the hands of Islamists. That's what makes, as I go back to the discussion from Tucker Carlson about Islamists are not a threat, and this is all just a Israeli psyop. No, it's not. It's the reality of history. And as I have discussed from the beginning, everything we're seeing regarding the attack on Jews leads to the attack on Christians. Of course it does. And every rational person understands this. And it's Christians that have to be involved in this fight. Because if Christians don't stand up, it is over. All over. There's no winning. To stand up and say what is happening here, the slaughter of Christians, the attack on Christians, cannot stand. We cannot live with this. We cannot allow this. Sends a message that I approve of in every single way. That there are people out there who are hell-bent on destruction and their desire for a worldwide caliphate, their desire for control, their belief that others must submit or die. And the answer is no. We aren't having this. If one wants to argue that it is xenophobic or bigoted or what is the term they use? The lie of Islamophobia? It's a fear of Muslims. No. A recognition that Islamists are dangerous, are interested in the destruction of Western civilization and the destruction of your children. That's not a fear. That's rational thinking. They've proven it. They've shown it. And we should be a society that says no. And the support of Christians, the protection of Christians is necessary. And I was very happy to see Trump do it. Some people are going to say, see, he's just a warmonger like everybody else. Well, that ain't true. Protecting Christians is good. This is Tony Katz today. Can't believe that actually has to be said. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that has to be said. Nuts. Certifiable. But some people, man, some people just don't understand. And they're not willing to accept the fact that, of course, it's ugly. Of course, it's awful. Why does it have to be like this? Why is it always like that? Because it is. History is replete with examples. The Islamist doesn't stop. The belief is in conquest. Someone wants to scream that I'm anti-Muslim. I don't care. The facts are there. Also fact, we're not talking about religion here. We're talking about a political system here and a political ideology. That's the difference. And we have to address these things, honestly. If we don't, we're nuts. You cannot reason with people who literally take the word of the Quran and believe in the conquest of others, that they must submit or die. And the answer is no. The fight's on. And we have to fix this in the United States, which involves how we deal with immigration, concepts of deportation. We have to deal with this the world over. England, France, Germany, they have to deal with what they have allowed via mass migration. Australia too, and Australia doesn't seem to be willing. They're also scared of hurting people's feelings or insulting them. No, they don't care that they hurt Christians because Christians don't band together and start slaughtering people. I didn't say anything wrong. The data is right in front of you. The stories are right there. All I'm doing is pulling from them. That's it. And this whole thing about praying in the middle of streets and blocking traffic, that has to stop. That can't be allowed for a second in the United States. I believe that you have freedom of religion and you are allowed to engage your religion. You're not allowed to engage it in a roadway. You get run over. There is no difference from people praying in the middle of a street, stopping traffic, and people engaged in protest in the middle of a street. Don't be surprised when you get run over. You believe you're allowed to, what's the word? Push your will against us. Is that the right use of the terminology? And I believe, no, that isn't what we do. I wouldn't accept 5,000 Jews praying in the middle of a roadway blocking traffic. Hindus, Christians. No. Same is true for Muslims. Any group. No. Just one of many, many things going on. What's happening with the wholesale slaughter from groups like Boko Haram and others, the only way this gets handled is not, there is no diplomacy here. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. And there are children out there who simply cannot accept this. Someone has to win and someone has to lose because those are the rules that other people are playing by. What's our plan? That's it. Guys, I appreciate you like you wouldn't believe. I hope to see you January 24th. Trump 1 year later. The highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. Go to tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets right now. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Bring 10 friends. I want to see you there. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. Can't wait. The show continues over at WIBC.com. And don't forget to head over to TonyKatz.com. Everything is there. The show sheet is there. I did some video from the morning show that's over there. You can check that out for sure. It's looking very purple over there. I don't know. I had a very big purple background earlier. So head on over to TonyKatz.com and be a part of that. I appreciate you guys like you wouldn't believe. And that's right. No sweatpants allowed. Don't do it. Don't do it. There it is. There it is, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. You all be good. Can't thank you enough for being here, guys. You take care.